Welcome back to What's Going Down TV, and I'm your host, Kevin Hills, and with me again today is Luke Sandham, the trumpet player of Little Brown Jug Brass. Welcome, Luke.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, fantastic. Loving being separated from everybody.
Yeah, it's great, hey? Lots of peace and quiet.
What have you been doing while you've been isolated?
I've been busy working in my workshop, in my workshop making instruments, so it's great. I'm out in the garage and busy working away, different things like that, and just trying to keep my kids happy and healthy and sane. And
we're going to talk about your musical instrument building ventures and whatnot, because that's fantastic. I just love the fact that that is something you're interested in.
Sure.
But in order to talk, we should probably have a beer, and so
I think so.
Yeah. So today we are sharing. Here it is. One of these lovely, the Village Local. It's fantastic. So this made by Village Brewery here in Calgary. I'm going to pour mine now.
Cheers.
All right, so cheers. Here's to you.
Here's to you.
That is nice and malty.
Mm. It's good. Oh, it's good. Doesn't give you a hangover either. It's wonderful.
So what first interested you in building? It was your first one a guitar? I'll say guitar, but I don't even know your first.
No, actually, the first one I made was, the first one I worked on was a mandolin. A friend of mine went to Russia in grade 9 on a school field trip. And he brought this mandolin back as a souvenir, and he had it for a couple of years and he never used it. And then one day he gave it to me. He said, "Here, do you want this?" I said, "Sure." So then I had it in my closet for years. And then the "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" scene came out, and I got interested in old time and bluegrass music. So I thought, wait a minute, I have a mandolin. So I pulled that thing out of the plastic bag in the closet, and it was covered with really gross beige pink type of spray paint. Like they had put a fake sunburst on it by using brown and pink paint. It was awful. So I stripped it all off and put new tuning machines on it and built a new bridge and built a new nut. And I love doing that so much. Then I got thinking, this is kind of neat. Maybe I could build myself a resonator guitar. So my next one, I bought a kit and built a resonator guitar kit. And then once that was in, I was hooked.
Wow, fantastic. What else did you make?
Okay, so let's see if I can do these in order. So I made the mandolin, and then I made the resonator. And then after that, I made an open back banjo, like a frailing style banjo for my dad. After that, I built an acoustic bass guitar using really unique plans that I found on the internet by this guy named Motola. And the design of it makes it sound a lot like an upright bass. It's quite alarming how it's been designed. So I built that. And then mahogany, small body, like a 00 size Martin. And then see, what else did I get? And so now I've got this Bowranjo I had to invent the word. It's Bowranjo lele. So it's basically a banjo ukulele, but rather than having a traditional banjo pot, the drum part of the banjo is constructed just like a bowron. So it's sort of a tribute. The lady who's commissioned it, it's a tribute to her husband. And so it's going to have a bunch of her jewelry and his old tipper, you know, the mallet that you use on a bowron to play. So that's going to be inlaid into the structure of the instrument.
Oh,
and then, yeah, so that's what we've got going on.
What's the one instrument that you'd love to build at some point in your life?
Oh, well, can I give you a couple of examples?
Please. Oh, yeah.
Vintage Gibsons. So I've got a plan for a vintage Gibson J45 and a vintage Gibson L00. So that's two classic vintage Gibson guitars. So I want to make replicas of those. I also have the plans for Andre Segovia's Herman Hauser guitar And so I'd like to try making a replica of that just as a study, you know, to see how that works. I'd really like to make one of those jazz guitars like Django Reinhardt played. That Selmer McAfee type of guitar. They're a totally different design and everything, and I'd really like to make one of those.
Awesome. Well, I want to say thank you so very much for hanging out with me today, Luke. I really appreciate you taking the time and having a beer with me. And thank you for suggesting the Village Local. It's fantastic. I don't know that I would have gotten there, but.
Oh, it's fantastic. Anytime.
Awesome.
I probably wouldn't have had a chance to have beer with you today at lunchtime either. So, you know, this is the silver lining. So thank you for making yourself available. It was really fun.
Awesome. No, you're more than welcome. Cheers.
Cheers.